work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at doorsplusllc.com. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top-quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
This is the Adam Carricker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carricker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carricker.
Shotgun snap to Everett. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carricker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carricker.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carricker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. Jake, how have you enjoyed, and right now it's kind of rainy outside in Lincoln, which I actually enjoy because it's cooling it down just a little bit, but how has the summer heat been treating you so far, my friend, and the humidity and everything else?
It's been real hot, as we all know, here in the capital city. So I've mostly tried to stay inside. Thankfully, my AC has not went against me and turned down. So I've been mostly keeping it cool inside.
Oh, man. Watching baseball games is very different in late February. Yeah, very different late February. I mean, late April, early May than it is in late June going into early July. There is a different level of dedication for parents watching their 9U kids and our high school kids, depending on which kid we're watching. All right, but it's always awesome, nonetheless. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Adam Carricker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. As always, you can check out all things The Ticket at theticketfm.com. All right, what you're going to get unique insight, unbridled honesty. Producer Jake and I are going to have a whole lot of fun in the process. It doesn't matter if it's 100 degrees, 80 degrees, 95% humidity, or if it's just plain raining and somewhat cool like it is out there today. Also, Husker sports, college football, and sports in general. Today's show, you guessed it, it's loaded. Lots to talk about. College World Series insanity, the ump show that it became, NBA Finals Game 7 reaction. We got a clip, actually, to go back to Coastal Carolina and their coach getting thrown out, their first base coach getting thrown out. He had a clip after the game. I thought he actually handled himself very well, articulated himself very well, articulated his point, owned up to everything. And you got to learn a little bit more about Coastal Carolina, their program, and how they approach things and why they've had the success that they've had. Also, NBA Finals reaction. Is there a new face of the NBA, real quick, Jake? Is there a new face of the NBA, in your opinion? Player, not team. Obviously, a new champ, but new player.
Yeah, I think you certainly have an opportunity here. I think you're going to have to see if he can win a little bit more. Obviously, winning the MVP and the championship in the same season will put him in that conversation. But I just kind of keep going back to this was the 7th different champion in the last 7 years. So you got to kind of have a little bit of a run, right? And then we kind of go back to even replacing Michael Jordan as the face of the NBA. And that's what the NBA is going to have to do with LeBron James. LeBron's going to continue to be that as far as he's in the league. Replacing Michael Jordan, you had great possibilities there. Tracy McGrady's, Allen Iverson's, Kobe Bryant's. Was it ever really done until LeBron came back? I'm not sure.
Kobe? We're talking about Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. I assume that's what you're talking about. Okay, all right. Well, he said MVP and won the championship, but he didn't actually say his name. So just so everyone knows, Shea Gilgeous, help me with how to say the middle name.
Most people say SGA. Gilgeous is how I was been saying it, but I don't know.
Gilgeous. All right, Alexander. And I'll just say SGA going forward so I don't continue to screw it up. All right. But when you win the MVP, you win a NBA championship, Game 7 on your home court. I struck out this weekend. I predicted Coastal Carolina, and they got swept. I predicted the Pacers, although, do I get a mulligan? First of all right, let me see here. Tyrese Halliburton. First of all, thoughts, prayers, speedy recovery. I mean, he was banged up going into Game 6. We all knew that. If it's a regular season game, there's no way he's on the court. Even in a playoff series, like a regular playoff series where maybe they're up, maybe your game 6, it's an elimination game on your home court. You got to tough it out. You go into game 7. I mean, it's the Super Bowl of the NBA. I admire him for going out there. Unfortunately, tears his Achilles. 3 NBA players have tore their Achilles. All right, this postseason, I'm sure you saw this. Ironic. I don't know if it's ironic or unfortunate, but all of them wear number 0, by the way. Okay, that tore their Achilles these playoffs. But Tyrese Halliburton, unfortunately, tears his Achilles in the first quarter. All right, so thoughts and prayers, speedy recovery, well wishes to him. Okay, but do I get a bit of a mulligan? Like when you lose a player like that and you're the Pacers, like once he went down, I'm like, that sucks for him. Man, I want him to get better. And then I'm like, oh, there's no way the Pacers are winning. I mean, there's no way I would take the Pacers without Halliburton. Do I get a mulligan, or are you just going to hold me to the fire here, Jake?
I think we got to hold you to the fire, but I think that was part of the whole idea, was that Halliburton was playing through the injury, and there's more of a risk for an injury, obviously, if it happens. So that's just part of the deal if you're taking the Pacers there with a banged-up Halliburton.
How dare you? So my thought process, that was a part of my decision-making process. I factored that in. But I was like, man, he made it through game 6, and then he's got 2 days off going into game 7. He can at least make it through. Unfortunately, for him, unfortunately for the Pacers, he did not. But what a run he had, man. More people are going to know his name after this postseason. All right, along with SGA. More people are going to know those 2 players' names, even if I can't pronounce the whole thing right. It's not even that hard to pronounce, but SGA, all right, and Halliburton, they are just knocking on the doors. They're already stars. They're just knocking on the door of superstardom, if you will. And you make a great point. After Jordan, I mean, there was other guys there. Tracy McGrady, Allen Iverson. There's some more guys as well. I feel like the next guy was really Kobe. But I felt like Kobe was still kind of cementing his legacy as LeBron was entering the league. Because I remember Christmas Day games between the Cavs and the Lakers. And maybe it was my uneducated point of view, but I'm like, LeBron is better than Kobe. Looking back now, if I did an all-time greats list, and this is crazy to say because LeBron hadn't even won a title at that point. He's won 4, despite how you might view some of those titles. He's won 4 since, and I would be like, no, I'd put Kobe ahead of LeBron. But at the time, Kobe was like a 4 or 5-time NBA champ. LeBron was a 0-time NBA champ, all the way back when. And I thought LeBron was better. So who knows? It's funny how you view things in real time. And then it's funny how you can view things completely differently when you're looking back on things. Does that kind of make sense what I'm trying to articulate there?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I think it is kind of interesting. You got to have to let it kind of work its way out. And then obviously, some players, if they kind of stick around and play a couple extra years past their prime, then you start to kind of devalue them too. So it's kind of just interesting. You got to let it all play out. But the point I was making, I think, Michael Jordan retired in 98. Retired from the Bulls in 98 and then came back with the Wizards a little bit later.
That was his real retirement, but go ahead.
Yeah, that's when I think he was, I don't know if he was the face of the NBA when he came back with the Wizards, but again, I don't know if they necessarily had one, is that Kobe was winning those titles with Shaq, and Shaq was, at that time, the more dominant, the better player. Not to say that they both didn't need each other, but, and then LeBron came in 2003, and it took till, 2009, 2010 for Kobe to win the next title. So I don't know. I mean, Kobe certainly, I think, was in that discussion. But I think kind of going back to, I'm not sure if he was necessarily the face of the NBA. I think because of the way we do look back on it, it's easy to kind of fill him in there. Mm-hmm. But I'm not sure if there was necessarily a face of the NBA between Michael Jordan and LeBron.
So I'm not the only one, because at the time, he was dubbed King James when he was a senior in high school. I remember watching LeBron's. I was a freshman at Nebraska. I'm 1 year older than him. I remember watching his high school games. I don't remember his high school team's name, but there was the Irish was on the jersey, and the jersey was green. And they were on national TV, and I knew LeBron James. I knew King James. He was basically dubbed the face of the NBA, fair or not fair, all right, before he ever really got in. And I remember that SportsCenter commercial. I'm pretty sure he hadn't even played a minute yet, where he's got, he's sitting in the regular chair, and the cubicle next to him, I forget which SportsCenter anchor it was, is sitting in a big, giant king chair.
That's right.
And LeBron's like, did you steal my chair? And the guy's like, no, although it's obvious he did. He was already King James before he ever played a minute, ergo the face of the league. But as we look back now, I think some people would say maybe 03 to 09 was Kobe's, even though in real time, I didn't view it that way, but I wouldn't. It's weird. Yeah. It's weird how it changes your perspective over time.
Yeah, it certainly. I mean, there's an argument there. Again, I just never quite saw it that way. I think if you did have a face of the league, I think Kobe would be definitely in that discussion. But it just kind of is what it is. And right now, again, I think they're kind of transitioning and trying to find that to your kind of original question. And you have guys that pop up, and it's not to say these guys aren't great. Kevin Durant for a while is great. Giannis is great. It's just, it's different to kind of take that next level. It's like from being an all-star, an all-pro to a superstar, and then eventually get to kind of icon. You got to get to like an icon status, I believe, kind of to be to the face of the league.
Yeah, if you want to be the face of the league, I mean, there can only be one face of the league.
Right.
So basically, you have to be pretty much the best player in the league for a few years to even be in the conversation. Obviously, it's a really hard thing to do. So it's funny, though, when I look back at Kobe, because he won 3, and then there was, you said something earlier. He didn't need Shaq. Shaq didn't need him. Man, is that a true statement? Now, Shaq won titles outside of Kobe.
I was saying they did need each other. I was just saying Shaq was the more dominant player at the time. He won the Finals MVPs and such of those 3 titles.
That's a fair point.
And here's another argument.
Yeah.
Again, I don't want to be the guy that argues against Kobe Bryant because Kobe Bryant was great.
Yeah.
But I'm saying Kobe Bryant did win. He won 1 MVP. So to me, also kind of be a face of the league, probably going to need a few more than that. A few more.
So we're jumping all over the place. But let's just bounce, okay? Let's bounce right or left, wherever the conversation goes. Brett Favre. So, okay, Kobe Bryant, 5-time NBA champ. He won 2 after Shaq, by the way.
Yep.
To me, that was the difference maker. That was the difference maker to me in my head, okay? Well, as far as how I view Kobe and why I would probably put him in front of LeBron, all right? And didn't LeBron, I don't have the quote in front of me, didn't he recently come out and kind of like downplay what he called championship culture? Like,
ring culture, yep.
Ring culture, that's what he called it. Like, basically saying you put too much emphasis on rings. I'm like, okay. That's, with all due respect, one of the best ever, one of the top 5 ever NBA players of all time. But you're devaluing something because you have less of something than other guys who are in the same conversation as you. And to me, that doesn't come across great. All right, but let's come back to something that you said as far as the MVP and how that factors into being the face of the league. That's a fair point. Would you consider Brett Favre to have ever been the face of the NFL? The face of it? I'm going to tell you why. I'll come back to that in a second, but go ahead.
I mean,
the face.
I think John Madden kind of helped along with it to promote him up there. But to me, I guess to me he was, but I was probably too young to necessarily know, kind of in real time. So as I look back at it, I think you might have a tough argument there. I think so. I mean, maybe for a brief time, but again, you kind of go into the championship counts there. Because what era would it have been? Maybe the 90s?
Well, so that's what I'm kind of getting at. So Brett Favre, I mean, love him, don't love him off the field, whatever the case may be. You look at the football aspect of this. He has 3 MVPs. Phenomenal. 1 Super Bowl ring. Phenomenal. But you compare that, and it's tough because Nebraska basketball is a completely different game. So trying to compare, and people do it though. They do it with Jordan and Brady. So it's you can do it. It's just hard to do. But Kobe has 5 NBA championships, 1 MVP. Favre, 1 Super Bowl, 3 MVPs. And looking back now, I probably would have considered Kobe to be more a face of the NBA than when I look back and think of Favre as an actual face of the NFL. Part of that is due to the other players that were in the league at the same time as him, guys like John Elway, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know. Like, to me, I look back and I'm like, I think Kobe was more a face of the NBA, as great as Favre was, than Favre was a face of the NFL, in my opinion, or at least for longer. What do you think?
Yeah, it's just tough to tell. Again, I think it's partially because of the competition. I'm glad you brought that up. That's kind of why I'm having trouble, like, with the NBA and whether, the growth of the game, all that sort of stuff, is when you have 7 different teams winning championships. And this, I think, hurts LeBron's greatest of all time argument, even though you're in the latter half of his career. If everybody can raise their hand in the room and said, yeah, I won an NBA title while he was playing. Oh, you did too? Oh, he did as well. That's what kind of made the Michael Jordan era so dominant. Karl Malone and Charles Barkley, some of the top players of all time, never won a ring having played along Michael Jordan. And that's why, we talk about the face of the NFL in the 90s. I think that's kind of tough because there wasn't necessarily a dynasty. I think you go back To the 80s, you have Joe Montana. I mean, they're move forward. I think you have Tom Brady, but there was just, again, transitional times like we're talking about between Michael Jordan and LeBron, where obviously the Dallas Cowboys were dominant for a few years. Did Troy Aikman or anybody like that elevate to, Emmitt Smith elevate to face of the league? I'm not sure it got to that level.
Yeah, you look at 90 and the Giants beat the Bills on the first of 4 straight Bills Super Bowl losses, okay? The Bills missed that field goal at the end. And so the Giants, was Hostetler the quarterback that year? Look that up real quick. I know 91 was the Redskins, Mark Rippon. And to this day, the most dominant postseason run in NFL history. The Eagles just had the second most dominant postseason run. If you look at point margin per victory per game in the NFL postseason, was number 2 the Eagles. Number 1 was 91 the Redskins. Then you got 92, 93 the Cowboys. 94 the 49ers win the Super Bowl. I'm talking about Super Bowl winners. 95 was the Cowboys. This time, Barry Switzer was the head coach. But Aikman was there for all 3. I've always kind of felt like Aikman's been a little bit overlooked just due to the incredible talent around him, from Emmitt Smith to Jay Novacek to Bill Moose Johnston to Michael Irvin to the guys they had on defense. All right, the great wall of Dallas with Larry Allen, all those guys up front. Okay, I feel like he gets a little bit overlooked at times. Then you look at the Broncos winning 2 Super Bowls in a row. I believe 96 was Brett Favre and the Packers. The next 2 was the Broncos. So you make a fair point. I did Google the most MVP awards all time by any NFL player. Do you know who's number 1? Do you happen to know?
Is it Brett Favre at 3?
So he has 3. There's one guy with 5, one guy with 4, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4 guys tied with 3. Do you happen to know who number 1 is?
I should know this, but Tom Brady's got to be in there. No, I don't know.
So number 1 is Peyton Manning with 5 MVPs.
5, wow, okay.
Aaron Rodgers has 4. I'll be honest, I didn't know Aaron Rodgers had 4. That was beyond what I knew. Then you got Brady, Favre, Jim Brown, Johnny Unitas with 3. All right, just for perspective, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Kurt Warner, Steve Young, Joe Montana all have 2. So you come back to kind of the NBA talk. It's pretty cool. The NBA really needed Halliburton to be able to play last night to continue the drama in the Game 7. And, obviously he didn't want to get hurt. Nobody wants him to get hurt. All right. The game was as competitive after Halliburton got hurt as the Pacers could possibly make it. Once he got hurt, you're like, no, the Thunder is going to win. The only question is, can the Pacers keep it respectable at this point? And it was a double-digit victory, but they didn't get blown off the court. So I respect the effort. They did as good as they were going to do after that. But Oklahoma City, man, it's a new team. It's their first ever championship. Keep in mind, this is the team that once had Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, James Harden. By the way, all 3 of those guys are now with the Rockets again. What do you think of that real quick?
Well, have been with the Rockets, yeah. Because Kevin Durant he got traded to the Rockets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have been with the Rockets, I should say. But, man, it's almost like because I'm staring at the picture of the Thunder when they had Durant, Westbrook, and Harden. And were they together when they had the 3-1 lead over Golden State and they ended up blowing that lead and Golden State won the finals?
Yeah.
They were all together, man. I would have thought that would have been the Thunder team to win it. Obviously, there was some not so great feelings once there was a parting of the ways between Durant and Westbrook, especially. But you look at Oklahoma City. They are one of only 3 teams. Let me make sure I got this correct. Well, it's 2 teams, but only 3 seasons. Here it is. Only 3 NBA champions have ever won 84-plus games in a season. The 95-96 Bulls, the 96-97 Bulls, and the 24-25 Oklahoma City Thunder. So, and you think about this as well. You continue to think about what is being built there. Okay? The Thunder have everybody under contract entering next season, and they still possess up to a possible 6 first-round NBA draft picks in the next 2 NBA drafts, which includes picks number 15 and 24 this upcoming week. Like, they've got to be the favorites to win it again next year. This could be the beginning of a dynasty. This could be the beginning of a new face of the league. And frankly, the NBA needs it. Okay, I kind of look at a guy like LeBron as an all-time great, but I kind of look at him like, all right, I'm ready for somebody else to take this mantle from you. I wasn't ready with that with Jordan, but I'm ready for that with LeBron. And so maybe maybe this is what's going to happen. This is what's up next. All right, man. Any final thoughts on the NBA Finals? I mean, I didn't see a whole lot of point in breaking down Game 7. Once Halliburton went down, OKC kind of took over the game. The Pacers made it very respectable based on losing one of the best players on planet Earth. They kept it as competitive as they could. But OKC are world champions, potential new face of the NBA, potential dynasty on the horizon when they've got everyone signed to come back, a bunch of first-round draft picks that they can use. There could be a new dynasty. And as a former Seattle Supersonics fan, I want to give a shout-out to all of us holdout Supersonics fan. Our first NBA championship as a franchise since 1969. I just want to shout that out real quick. You got any final thoughts before we move on to the next topic there, Jake? Is there anything off the text line real quick, too?
I can go to the text line real quick. At 7826 says now, ironically, now Durant and Westbrooks have rings and Harden is still chasing one. So going back on that. And if going back to that 3-1, I can't remember if Harden was still there. Remember, he was kind of the sixth man on that team that went to the finals and then went off to Houston and started. So, but one way or the other, obviously they were an iconic trio at the time. Kip says LeBron has been the MVP for at least 12 of his seasons. Those awards are a joke. So, kind of going back to Heisman, it says Tommy should have won instead of Eddie George. Sue was easily the winner. So, I mean, you have arguments there, and you generally do have arguments, especially with like LeBron and Michael Jordan. Again, I'm not sure if, I think there was a special one year where Steve Nash won where Kobe could have won that one. But I don't know. Again, I don't know if he won one. I don't know if you're dominant enough to say that for year in and year out. But again, I'm not going to. Kobe fans are they stick together as a group
they do.
And they attack.
They're passionate,
I really don't want to get
passionate.
too much into it. But anyways, to your point, though, the Thunder are the favorites heading into next season, and they actually have the shortest preseason championship odds since the 2018-19 Golden State Warriors, according to SportsOddsHistory.com. Part of that might be some of the competition they have because the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Houston Rockets are the next betting favorites, followed by the New York Knicks. The New York Knicks just fired their coach. The Rockets are still looking for a coach. The Rockets, of course, just made that big move with Durant, which moved them up. And, of course, the Cavs were the number 1 seed this past year. But I will say this about OKC. Remember, it did take 7 games to defeat Denver, who will continue. I know a lot of people maybe overlooking Denver at this point. Took 7 games to beat Denver, who had an interim coach. So, yes, it was a great run, and obviously they're champions and all that. I don't know. I'm not ready to jump on board for Dynasty quite yet, although it kind of depends on what you kind of think in Dynasty. Could they be the next San Antonio Spurs dynasty that maybe doesn't win year in and year out, but is competitive year in and year out, every 3 to 4 years takes home a championship?
I'm ready to hop on the train. I'm ready to hop on the train because, number one, I want to hop on the train. I'm just going to be full disclosure on that. Number 2, they've got everybody coming back, and that first one is always the toughest. The first one is the toughest. I don't want to say, they finally got over the hump because that'd be ridiculous to say. But that first one is the toughest. You get over what, if you want to call that a hump or not, you look at what's around them. With all due respect, the really only true competitor I see now at this point is the Rockets with Durant. Oh, the Western Conference Finals, the Rockets, Durant, and OKC next year. Dude, that would be phenomenal cinema. That would be box office attraction right there. I'm ready to hop on board. When you win it, you're the number 1 overall seed to begin with. You're one of only 3 teams in NBA history to win 84-plus games. And then you got everybody coming back, multiple first-round draft picks. I'm hopping on board. Part of me wants the NBA to be more intriguing. Part of me thinks this is better for the NBA. This is what the NBA needs. And frankly, I'm rooting for it. I don't sit here and talk about how I don't enjoy the NBA. And I want more intensity and it's not fun to watch. And I'm disinterested because I want to say that. I said it because it was the truth. This has helped me have a much more positive outlook of the NBA, and I want that outlook to keep going forward. And I asked you this before we went on air, before we go to break. Rich Carlisle, does he not look like Jim Carrey to you? Every time he's the Indiana Pacers head coach, for those who don't know. And he doesn't have the hair that Jim Carrey has. So just look at the face. Every time I see him, I have to do like a double take. And I have to remind myself that, no, that's Rich Carlisle. That is not Jim Carrey. He looks so much like him, though. Do you not see the resemblance at all?
Oh, I definitely see it. I've seen it for years. I think he looks less like Jim Carrey as he ages, but he still he still resembles Jim Carrey quite a bit.
All right. Is there anything off the text line?
Just kind of looking through here. Mississippi Mud Dog does say that we're sleeping on the Nuggets, a point that I kind of brought up there.
Yep. Fair.
And then 7601 says liability is a factor in fandom too. I think a lot of people just like Kobe's personality over LeBron.
The Black Mamba. Well, people want a guy who wants to compete. If I finish the rest of my statement, it sounds like I'm being negative about LeBron. Okay, LeBron would have a tendency to stack teams. Kobe wanted to win without Shaq. Like, he wanted to prove something, and Kobe won. He still had Kyrie on that team, and Kyrie actually hit the game-winning shot for that championship, and you had Kevin Love. I just like the Mamba mentality. I like that. I'm going to go out and beat you. And I will never forget. I don't know if it's a meme or a GIF, but he's guarding the guy out of bounds. And the guy out of bounds acts like he's going to throw the ball right in his face. Legit, no hesitation, no flinch. I've never looked at Kobe the same since then. Because you can't prepare for that moment. That's an in-the-moment true reaction. That's very real. And I love that. So for me, I do think people like Kobe's competitive, his intensity, his approach to the game better than they like LeBron sometimes as an overall whole. And I think that's a very fair statement. I would be in that crowd as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
When opportunity knocks, you don't want to miss the call. Hamilton Business Technologies makes communication easy and efficient using customized technology, all while putting people first. Whether you're working from the office, at home, or on the go, Hamilton Business Technologies equips your business with the right tools for smooth, professional call handling. Hamilton Business Technologies. Real people, real technology solutions. Learn more at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Rain, snow, or shine, John Henry's is here to keep your home's plumbing systems working properly no matter what kind of weather Nebraska throws at us. From unclogging toilets and drains to installing new water heaters and water treatment systems, John Henry's is your plumbing expert in the Lincoln and Omaha communities. Visit us at calljh.com or call John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air,
and Electrical.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Midwest Bank is now hiring in Lincoln. They have multiple banking positions open and are looking for dynamic individuals passionate about helping others and building relationships. With a family-friendly culture, competitive benefits, and unique perks, Midwest Bank is a great place to start a new career. Apply today at midwest.bank. Midwest Bank is an equal opportunity employer, member FDIC.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top-quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Advanced Medical Imaging is the largest radiology group in Nebraska, located in Lincoln at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. At Advanced Medical Imaging, they utilize state-of-the-art technology and blend it together with their compassionate, skilled team to guide you through every step. Whether it's an MRI, CT scan, or X-ray, their precise diagnostics help your doctor deliver the best care plan for you. Choose clarity and comfort in your life by choosing Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard and online at amimaging.com.
Every home is different. Every family is different. So when it's time for a new heating and cooling system, why not get what fits you best? Get the perfect fit with Bryant. Maybe you need higher efficiency, better humidity control, increased warranty, or all the bells and whistles. Bryant provides options. Options in warranty, features, comfort, and efficiency while maximizing savings. Call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing, 467-1111, or visit BryantLincoln.com. Bryant, whatever it takes.
I want to ride. Do you want to ride? June is officially riding month at Rod's Power Sports, Nebraska's largest volume Honda Power Sports dealership. Come in now and take advantage of huge savings and a great inventory selection during Rod's I Want to Ride celebration days all month long. Simply schedule a qualified demo ride on one of their new Honda motorcycles, ATVs, scooters, or side-by-sides, or purchase a new or used vehicle, and you get a free custom I Want to Ride t-shirt. Plus, all month long, they have 10% discounts on all wearables, parts, accessories, and oil change kits when purchased with a new or used Honda. Free refreshments served each Saturday morning in June. Just show up and say, I want to ride, and they'll fix you up with some free stuff and help you pick out that new ride. Come ride with Rod's Power Sports in Lincoln or online at rodspowersports.com. For your safety, read the owner's manual and always wear a helmet and eye protection. Honda Power Sports vehicles are for riders 16 years and older. Honda recommends that all ATV riders take a training course.
Mike, the insurance company wants us to replace the roof.
Wait, what? I thought everything was fine.
Yeah, it says right here our roof is too old and they won't be able to cover us anymore.
I guess it is 15 years old. Hi, I'm Austin with Roofing Service Company. We help homeowners with their roofing and siding projects. Financing options are available, and we can get you under a new roof no time at all. If this sounds like you, visit roofingservicecompany.com. That is roofingservicecompany.com.
Your Nebraska Lottery announces the 2025 NASCAR Powerball Playoff. And it's a great way to get on track for a chance to win $1,000. From May 27th to June 23rd, buy $2 of Powerball, enter the voucher number online, and you could be one of 20 winners of $1,000 and a chance to win a VIP trip to the NASCAR Championship weekend at Phoenix Raceway. Roar into any Nebraska Lottery retailer and buy $2 of Powerball today. Powerball top prize odds 1 in 292 million.
This is the Adam Carricker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carricker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. I forgot to mention everything we're going to talk about now over the next hour and a half. Obviously, we just discussed the NBA Finals, went off into a random face of the league discussion and or debate. That was fun as always. All right, next up, we're going to discuss College World Series insanity, a.k.a. the ump show yesterday. Also, throughout the course of the next hour and a half, Nebraska, do they have one of the top wide receiver rooms, not only in the Big Ten, but in the country? Okay, and that's something I've started to see quite a bit of places as well. The excitement of this wide receiver room, got a talented quarterback. Take that year two progression, improvement, jump, whatever you want to call it. You got guys at wide receiver like Dane Key is very highly thought of. Isaiah Hunter, young player, underclassman with a bright future. Ja'Cory Barney, the fastest player on Nebraska's team, someone who stood out as a true freshman a year ago. And then you've got other guys in that room as well. Does Nebraska have one of the top wide receiver rooms in the entire country? And a whole plethora of other stuff we're going to chat about too. But in the meantime, let's get back to the College World Series. Insanity, a.k.a. the ump show. Congratulations to LSU, their second national title in 3 years, their ninth national title in their program's history. I mean, even as a kid, I can honestly tell you, I didn't watch a whole bunch of college baseball when I was growing up. It was college football. It was the NBA. It was professional wrestling. And it was Major League Baseball, especially the Atlanta Braves, because they were on TBS all the time, which is kind of why the Atlanta Braves are my favorite. They were my favorite baseball team growing up. The Royals are definitely in that conversation now. Still the Braves, the Mariners, where I grew up just a few hours from Seattle. Those are probably my top three favorite teams. And pretty much, I'd always root against the Yankees as well. But that was just something my dad kind of taught me there. But the College World Series, even as a kid, I knew LSU was a monster in college baseball, is the point that I was getting at. Their ninth national championship program history, as I mentioned. All right, before we get to the first inning shenanigans that were yesterday. We got a clip of Coastal Carolina's head coach. I got a statement from Coastal Carolina I'm going to read here that they released after the game. But what were your thoughts on the College World Series as a whole and the two games? I about said 3 games set. The 2 games set, unfortunately, Coastal Carolina got swept by LSU, but those 2 games that were played between the Tigers and the Chanticleers, not the Chandeliers, the Chanticleers. Do you know what a Chanticleer is, by the way?
Based on their logo, some sort of chicken?
So it's located, Coastal Carolina is in South Carolina. Okay. So it's not the Gamecocks like the South Carolina Gamecocks, but it is a type of bird, type of chicken. Okay. What I remember when I first learned about Coastal Carolina, I think it was actually the NCAA basketball tournament a few years ago. I think they made a surprising run. I'm like, what the heck is a chandelier? Like, why is their name a chandelier? And then somebody's like, no, it's a Chanticleer. I'm like, what the heck is a Chanticleer? Are we just throwing random letters together and making up words now? They're like, no, this is a very real thing. Anyways, I actually kind of like it now.
Well,
it's very memorable, but go ahead.
It's kind of funny because growing up as a Husker fan, right? The Cornhusker was there too, but as a Husker fan, it was just kind of like, to me, that was what your mascot or it could just be whatever, it's just kind of a thing. It's not. And then when I started
what does that mean?
I'm just trying to like branching off and saying, okay, this team's a Bulldog or this team's a Buffalo or that sort of thing. It's like, okay, that's kind of exciting. But what I like is the uniqueness that we are the Huskers and there's no other Husker, right? So the Chanticleer, I at least like the.
It's unique.
Yeah, it's at least unique.
Bug eaters? Did you like the uniqueness of the bug eaters? I know this predates both of us.
A little too unique, I think.
A little too. That's a fair point. I will never. So when I played at Nebraska, as you drove into town, now it's an 1890 billboard. Okay, as you kind of drive by the stadium, and as you enter Lincoln, it was a gigantic bug eaters billboard, and I was like, the fact that we were named that to begin with is not great. Why do we have a gigantic billboard advertising we were once named this? So 1890 is doing very well as far as an upgrade per billboard, obviously supporting the university monetarily as well. But your thoughts on the actual 2-game College World Series championship series?
Well, obviously the College World Series was great with the no-hitter, everything involved there. I think we did get the best 2 teams right, and it felt like that. And LSU was going to have to beat Coastal Carolina twice. Coastal Carolina, of course, had a 26-game winning streak, and we just had matchups of these. That's what I kind of liked about the series was the matchup of the pitchers. It seemed like every time they come in, it's like they've won 9 straight when this guy's pitched, or,
yep.
And so it was a good series. Obviously, maybe I personally don't mind. I mean, some excitement in the first inning to get you going there. Obviously, it would have been better if it would have went to 3. But LSU took care of business, did what they needed to do, and continues that dominant run from SEC baseball and LSU, like you said, one of the better programs of all time. So, I thought it was at least very entertaining. And again, I felt like we did get the 2 best teams there, and which was obvious as neither team had lost going into the finals.
6 straight. I didn't want to point this out, but the facts are what the facts are, and they don't care about feelings, including Jake's or mine. 6 straight national championships for the SEC in baseball now.
11-16 as well.
Oh, I didn't know that. All right. A moment of silence for the rest of the country as we mourn anybody else winning a national title recently. All right. Here's a couple of other random things. Coastal Carolina, 13th overall seed coming in. LSU, the number 6 seed. No top 5 seed made the championship game. Only one top 5 national seed even made it in to begin with, and that was Arkansas, eliminated by LSU, obviously. Coastal Carolina actually had a better record than LSU. They do not play in as tough of a conference, top to bottom, or in general, but they were 56-13 entering. LSU is 53-15. The Chanticleers, I think people forget, actually had a 1-0 lead after the second inning yesterday. Ultimately, LSU wins 5-3. Two errors did not help the Chanticleers. But all right, let's get to the first inning shenanigans. The Coastal Carolina head coach gets thrown out. It seemed rather quick. It seemed rather abrupt. It seemed like if this is a national championship game, which it is, because LSU wins it, they're national champs. Coastal Carolina's trying to win it to make it to the ultimate final national championship game. Did not happen. It seemed quick. It seemed abrupt. The strike zone, I did not agree with in the first inning. But why don't we do this? Why don't we go ahead and play the clip? Coastal Carolina's head coach. Okay, and then you and I can react to it. I also have a statement from Coastal Carolina as well I can read. But go ahead, Jake.
There's 25,000 people there, and I vaguely hear a warning issued as the head coach, I was an assistant for 24 years. And as an assistant, you're almost treated like a second level citizen, and you can't say a word. Now, as a head coach, I think it is your right to get an explanation of why we got warned. And I'm 48 years old. I shouldn't get shooed by another grown man, right? So when I come out to ask what the warning is, a grown man shooed me. So at that point, I can now hear him say, it was a warning issued for arguing balls and strikes. And at that point, I said, because you missed 3. At that point, ejected. If that warrants an ejection, I'm the first one to stand here like a man and apologize. 2 words that define our program are own it. And what does that mean is you have to own everything that you do without blame, without defending yourself, without excuses. If you guys watched the video, there was a guy that came in extremely aggressively, tripped over Campos's foot, embarrassed in front of 25,000, immediately goes 2-game suspension and said, bumping the umpire. Immediately does that. There was no bump. He was embarrassed. I shouldn't be held accountable for a grown man's athleticism. They'll retract it, though, because now it's excessive. And the reason why it's excessive, because I was trying to say, I didn't bump him. It is what it is. But if that warranted an ejection, man, there'd be a lot of ejections. As an umpire, I feel like it's your job to manage the game, the national championship game, with some poise, some calmness, and a little bit of tolerance.
Okay, my favorite line, if you couldn't tell, I can't be held responsible for a grown man's athleticism. That was the individual who fell over. If you've seen the video or watched the game while it was happening, that was my favorite line of the entire thing. And we're going to get more into the meat and potatoes of this, and we'll see what Jake has to say. Let us know your thoughts on the text line as well. What's that number, Jake?
402-464-5685.
But just from a program perspective, own it. Like, he laid out why he thought it was BS, but at the end of the day, own it. No excuses, no nothing. Basically, another way of saying that is a way I've said of, point the mirror right at yourself. Don't turn around and deflect it at other people. So I like that. Do we need to go to break real quick?
We do, yeah.
Okay, we'll go to break. Send us your comments, your thoughts, your reaction to the NBA Finals Game 7 yesterday. Also, the College World Series as a whole, and the ump show that it turned out to be yesterday. And don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? You need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help you get the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Call the trial attorneys you can trust. 877-42-LIBERTY.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Cobble Chevrolet GMC, and the hail sale has been a huge success, but is winding down. We still, though, have several units with huge discounts. Plus, we have brand new Sierras, $14,000 off list, or starting at $37,105, or 0.9% APR on select new models. Yes, you heard right. $14,000 off or 0.9% APR on new Sierras starting at $37,105. So please check us out at cobblecars.com. All deals with roof credit, stock number G289358.
Mike, the insurance company wants us to replace the roof.
Wait, what? I thought everything was fine.
Yeah, it says right here our roof is too old and they won't be able to cover us anymore.
I guess it is 15 years old. Hi, I'm Austin with Roofing Service Company. We help homeowners with their roofing and siding projects. Financing options are available, and we can get you under a new roof no time at all. If this sounds like you, visit roofingservicecompany.com. That is roofingservicecompany.com.
Midwest Bank is now hiring in Lincoln. They have multiple banking positions open and are looking for dynamic individuals passionate about helping others and building relationships. With a family-friendly culture, competitive benefits, and unique perks, Midwest Bank is a great place to start a new career. Apply today at midwest.bank. Midwest Bank is an equal opportunity employer, member FDIC.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see a chance of showers and storms, especially this afternoon. Otherwise, mainly cloudy and breezy with the high near 89. Tonight, showers and storms will likely below near 69. And tomorrow, with a continued chance of showers and storms, with an afternoon high near 88. I'm meteorologist Kyle Mucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Husker fans, the 2025 Nebraska football season is right around the corner, and we need your support in the Sea of Red at Memorial Stadium this fall. You can now purchase a Husker football 3-game mini plan for only $185. This plan includes a ticket to USC plus Akron or Houston Christian and either Michigan State, Northwestern, or Iowa. Tickets are only available while supplies last. Purchase your Husker football 3-game mini plan today, or for more information, visit huskers.com/tickets. Go Big Red.
Several irrigation contractors in Lincoln go out of business every year, leaving sprinkler system orphans begging for service. The folks at Judson Irrigation shed a tear for these little fellas. They've been coddling these orphans for more than 40 years. From redesign, repairing, replacing, and restoring, remember the Judson Irrigation Orphanage.
Call the Judson Irrigation Orphanage 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
Load up on meat and more this summer at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's specials through June 24th are $1 off ground beef, 15% off on aprons, 15% off Cornhead beer, and buy one, get one 50% off on brats and hot dogs, limit 2. Plus, stop by for lunch on Fired Up Thursday at the Mercado East or Fired Up Friday at the Mercado North. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
I want to ride. Do you want to ride? June is officially riding month at Rod's Power Sports, Nebraska's largest volume Honda Power Sports dealership. Come in now and take advantage of huge savings and a great inventory selection during Rod's I Want to Ride celebration days all month long. Simply schedule a qualified demo ride on one of their new Honda motorcycles, ATVs, scooters, or side-by-sides, or purchase a new or used vehicle, and you get a free custom I Want to Ride t-shirt. Plus, all month long, they have 10% discounts on all wearables, parts, accessories, and oil change kits when purchased with a new or used Honda. Free refreshments served each Saturday morning in June. Just show up and say, I want to ride, and they'll fix you up with some free stuff and help you pick out that new ride. Come ride with Rod's Power Sports in Lincoln or online at rodspowersports.com. For your safety, read the owner's manual and always wear a helmet and eye protection. Honda Power Sports vehicles are for riders 16 years and older. Honda recommends that all ATV riders take a training course.
Hi, it's Charlie Stone and Andy Goodyear of Honda of Lincoln with more exciting news for area car buyers.
Charlie, it's just announced that Honda of Lincoln has won 3 of the Lincoln Journal-Star's Lincoln Choice Awards. Best New Car Dealer, Best Auto Repair, and Best Place to Get Your Oil Changed.
Wow, that's great, Andy. Anything else?
Yes, we were runner-up for Best Pre-Owned Dealer and Best Tire Dealer. A lot of people don't understand that we do sell tires here.
Very exciting, Andy. Why do you think your dealership is winning so many awards?
Charlie, we simply say It's the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business.
Looks like Honda of Lincoln is the great news headquarters for Lincoln.
Yes, and even all of Nebraska, we are also announcing that Honda of Lincoln's the only dealer in the state of Nebraska to win the prestigious Honda President's Award for 2024.
Honda of Lincoln, Nebraska's #1 volume Honda dealer, 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
This is the Adam Carricker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carricker Show. All right. Kevin Snall, okay, if you didn't know, is Coastal Carolina's head baseball coach. He just became their baseball coach before this 2025 season. For several years, he was associate head coach, recruiting, easy for me to say, coordinator for several seasons for the Chanticleers. All right. I got a statement here from Coastal Carolina. What were your thoughts as you were watching this unfold yesterday, Jake? And by the way, let's not bury the actual lead. Congratulations to LSU on another baseball national championship. Now let's get to the entertaining part of the segment. Okay. You won a national title. Now let's talk about the ump show, because that's what caught everybody's attention, unfortunately. What was your reaction when you watched it? So basically, there were multiple strikes that went against Carolina that seemed to not be great calls. The coach obviously is not happy. It doesn't seem to be anything crazy. The ump did shoe him. Like, literally did shoe him. I didn't really even realize that until he talked about it. I was like, wait, he did do that. And then essentially, he's like, there's some sort of warning, but it's a little bit unclear. And then the ump goes, you've been warned for arguing balls and strikes. And then he goes, that's because you've missed 3. And then he's thrown out. What were your thoughts as you were watching this? What are your thoughts after hearing Coach Snall's statements post-game?
Well, it is interesting, and I think it was good. The Drive had Jeff Hendricks on, who was a College World Series ump prior, and he kind of gave shed a different light on it, where you got to control the managers coming out. The manager, he stormed out of the dugout, and I guess there was a rule about 6 feet or whatever, how many steps you can take toward the umpire. So I from that perspective, I can see a little bit more now, but it just seems to me there just need, especially in a championship setting, there needs to be a little bit more of a warning. Kind of tried to bring it down from there. If at that point he doesn't, if it's not de-escalated by then it was just a quick trigger, is what I think a lot of people were upset about. And so I think that's fair. I think it still did feel like a quick trigger. But again, after hearing another umpire kind of back up the umpire and say he's, you can't charge at the umpire like that, then I can kind of see a little bit more from that angle.
I get it, and I get that. I also understand that an umpire is more likely to take the umpire's position than a non-umpire would be. That doesn't discredit, his credibility in any way, shape, or form. But a former player, more often than not, is going to take the position of a current player or a former player because that's going to be their perspective. Robert Griffin III does a phenomenal job of analyzing things. I have yet to ever see him ever criticize any NFL quarterback, ever, once. Like, you can't tell me they're always in the right, okay? And Robert does a great job. But that's the one thing I'm like, okay, is there a converse side to this? So, to me, there's a fair point about charging the umpire. Also, I think it was more quick trigger related. It seemed almost like the ump panicked to me. Like, he got nervous and he panicked. And because Coach Snall talked about the ump kind of controlling the game a little bit better. In other words, being in charge, controlling things, being the guy in charge. And I felt like, just watching it, it felt to me like he almost panicked a little bit, and that was his way of trying to take charge, which is not a great way to try to take charge if you're going to do it that quickly and that fast. And then the first base coach gets thrown out as well, and then you got people falling down, and then it's all sorts of chaos. And now we got guys who are going to be suspended for the first couple of games the next year. At least that's the way it looks right now. So for me, it looked like a younger ump. It looked like there may have been a little bit of panic in there. Maybe that was his way of trying to control the game, and it did the exact opposite. And when I wasn't on Twitter at that point. I got on after that, and that's all anybody was really talking about, even post-game, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a tough situation. Like, being a ref, being whatever is not an easy job to do. Like, you're always the bad guy. You're always after a call, nobody ever goes, hey, great call. It's after a call that people don't like, you get ripped into. So it's not an easy job. You did sign up for it. You are getting paid for it, especially at that level. But, all right, Coastal Carolina, here was the statement they put out. The ejections of head coach Kevin Snall and assistant coach Matt Schilling in the bottom of the first inning drastically altered the trajectory of a must-win game for our team. I mean, it's a fair point. This was a national championship game as well. All right, these decisions were made with an alarming level of haste without an attempt at de-escalation. I think that's fair. The charging of the ump, okay, is also fair as well, and deprived our student athletes of the leadership they had relied on throughout a historic postseason run. This is not about a single call. It's about a process and professionalism. In the biggest moment of the college baseball season, our program and its student athletes deserve better. The NCAA must reevaluate how it trains, assigns, and reviews umpires in championship environments. Sounds similar to some conversations we had last fall when it came to college football refs. Again, not an easy job. But if you're going to be in charge of a multi-billion-dollar industry, you need to do better with these types of things. Okay. All right, let me find my spot. The NCAA must reevaluate how it trains, assigns, and reviews umpires in championship environments. We expect consistency, a word we talk about a lot on this show. Communication and the same level of excellence from officials that we demand of our teams. Ooh. Do you get the same level of officiating as you're expecting level of play out of your own team? That's a fair statement. Our players have represented the university, this conference, and college baseball with integrity and heart. They deserve the opportunity to compete for a national championship with their leaders, and we're denied that opportunity today. I know we got to go to break. Do you mostly, I'm sure there's some things in there you don't entirely agree with, or you do agree with. Do you mostly agree or mostly disagree with their statement?
I think it's a good statement, especially, just trying to be, fight on behalf of their student athletes. So I especially appreciate that. But, it's just one of those things, too, especially with the game of baseball, as you're kind of talking about the other officials. I kind of think, that's what we ask, especially in championship settings. Swallow the whistle. Don't make the game about you. But baseball inherently is so much on the umpire behind the plate. Like, he has to be part of the game. And then you throw in the arguing that's going to be happening on behalf of the managers. It's probably the toughest or the biggest spotlight of any umpire or official that we have in sports. And it's just going to be a part of the game one way or the other. You can't really factor it in. Obviously, you want to limit that as much as you can.
I agree with that. The key things that I took away, the process. How did this unfold? What's the process as this unfolded? How are these guys being trained? Consistency. I think if this was consistently how umps reacted, I think we might feel different. This is a little bit more hastily. They use the word haste. And I think that's what's getting people. We want a consistent process. So all of a sudden, things don't seem different or hasty in a championship setting. By the way, everything I just said, could we send that to the College Football Playoff Committee? Just send that all, because it kind of rolls over to them as well. All right, one final thought. Ross Dellinger pointed this out. I mean, LSU, props to them, man. LSU wins the College World Series. Here's some other things they've done well at lately. 2019 College Football National Championship. 2021 Men's Outdoor Track National Championship. 2023. All right, Women's Basketball National Championship. 2023 Men's Baseball National Championship. 2024 Gymnastics National Championship. By the way, all right, Olivia Doon, Baby Gronk, a lot of celebrities in the house. Baby Gronk made an appearance at Nebraska football camp. Quick thoughts on that? Do we care? Are we interested?
That's enough of my thoughts there.
Okay, all right. And 2025 Baseball National Championship. Hey, man, down in the Bayou, they're doing some things. I respect it. I'm not a fan of LSU. I don't root against them, but they've had a lot of success. If I'm Nebraska, hey, I'm going to watch what they're doing and see how we can emulate while being true to who we are while we try to take our game to the next level across all sports. Don't go anywhere. Hour 2 of the Adam Carricker Show when we return.
Your Nebraska Lottery announces the 2025 NASCAR Powerball Playoff. And it's a great way to get on track for a chance to win $1,000. From May 27th to June 23rd, buy $2 of Powerball, enter the voucher number online, and you could be one of 20 winners of $1,000 and a chance to win a VIP trip to the NASCAR Championship weekend at Phoenix Raceway. Roar into any Nebraska Lottery retailer and buy $2 of Powerball today. Powerball top prize odds 1 in 292 million.
Several irrigation contractors in Lincoln go out of business every year, leaving sprinkler system orphans, begging for service. The folks at Judson Irrigation shed a tear for these little fellas. They've been coddling these orphans for more than 40 years. From redesign, repairing, replacing, and restoring, remember the Judson Irrigation Orphanage.
Call the Judson Irrigation Orphanage 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
Every home is different. Every family is different. So when it's time for a new heating and cooling system, why not get what fits you best? Get the perfect fit with Bryant. Maybe you need higher efficiency, better humidity control, increased warranty, or all the bells and whistles. Bryant provides options. Options in warranty, features, comfort, and efficiency while maximizing savings. Call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing, 467-1111, or visit BryantLincoln.com. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Mike, the insurance company wants us to replace the roof.
Wait, what? I thought everything was fine.
Yeah, it says right here our roof is too old and they won't be able to cover us anymore.
I guess it is 15 years old. Hi, I'm Austin with Roofing Service Company. We help homeowners with their roofing and siding projects. Financing options are available, and we can get you under a new roof no time at all. If this sounds like you, visit roofingservicecompany.com. That is roofingservicecompany.com.
Midwest Bank is now hiring in Lincoln. They have multiple banking positions open and are looking for dynamic individuals passionate about helping others and building relationships. With a family-friendly culture, competitive benefits, and unique perks, Midwest Bank is a great place to start a new career. Apply today at midwest.bank. Midwest Bank is an equal opportunity employer, member FDIC.
Husker fans, the 2025 Nebraska football season is right around the corner, and we need your support in the Sea of Red at Memorial Stadium this fall. You can now purchase a Husker football 3-game mini plan for only $185. This plan includes a ticket to USC plus Akron or Houston Christian and either Michigan State, Northwestern, or Iowa. Tickets are only available while supplies last. Purchase your Husker football 3-game mini plan today, or for more information, visit huskers.com/tickets. Go Big Red.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at DoorsPlusLLC.com. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
In every office, there's 2 types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
Load up on meat and more this summer at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's specials through June 24th are $1 off ground beef, 15% off on aprons, 15% off cornhead beer, and buy one, get one 50% off on brats and hot dogs, limit 2. Plus, stop by for lunch on Fired Up Thursday at the Mercado East or Fired Up Friday at the Mercado North. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is the Adam Carricker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carricker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carricker.
Shotgun snap to Everett. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carricker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carricker.
Are you ready, Jake?
I'm ready.
No, are you ready for this? I'm about to put my life on the line. Are you ready for this?
I'm not ready for that.
No. We're doing this. You don't know what we're doing, but I'm about to do it. Are you ready?
I don't think so.
I married my wife for her personality. Didn't realize that came as a variety pack, and some days I'm lucky enough to sample all 6 flavors. Do you know why I actually am reading that? Because my wife is the one who sent that to me.
Nice.
So that makes it okay. Most importantly, I want to give a shout out and a happy birthday to my wife, Angie. She turns 40 today. She but she put out a post on social media, pictures of her skydiving. So people know that she's 40, so it's okay that I say that. It's okay that I read what I just read because she sent it to me. We have that type of relationship where we can have fun with each other, and we know it's all good at the end of the day. But most importantly, very happy 40th birthday to my wife, Angie, who is now skydived twice, is the mother of 6, 5 daughters, 2 twins, but twins, obviously there's 2 of them. And I have been lucky enough to be married to her for going on 19 years now. So happy birthday, Angie Carricker. When I said that, I should have paused more for effect and just let it lay out there in the universe. But when I first read that, what did you think? What thoughts entered your head there, Jake?
Well, everybody's got, different, like you said, relationship with your significant other. You better be able to be playful with your significant other to go through that, or you're looking for a fight.
I'm definitely not looking for a fight. No. I don't want that. I forgot to mention, she's a black belt in Taekwondo too, by the way. So we actually have the board that she broke. We still have it. I got it framed and we got to put up in the house somewhere. She's so nice, sweet, and motherly, obviously with 6 kids. Some people don't realize, like, she's got a side to her that is ultra competitive and fierce, if you will. I made her mad one time when we were dating, and before it, I knew it. And I don't really remember what happened. Okay, and I may have been like, touching the top of her head, but she couldn't reach me type deal. So I was kind of asking for it. She did a spin roundhouse kick, hit me in the chest, and the couch was right behind me. And I was all of a sudden sitting down on the couch, and I was like, holy crap, that black belt thing is very, very real. So, all right, shout out and happy birthday to Angie Carricker. Oh, random story on that, actually. So where we lived prior was Loveland, Colorado. I don't think I've ever said the town before. If you ever been to Estes Park?
Yeah.
Big Red of the Rockies. So you go right through Loveland. Okay, at the foothills of the mountains, and you head up into Estes Park. It was about 45 minutes away. You go to Big Red of the Rockies. Okay, that store up there. And it was interesting. I went to the thing about 5 years ago. Might have been longer than that. And they celebrated 20 years. And then all of a sudden, Big Red of the Rockies was gone. They literally celebrated 20 years, and it was gone. Now it's back, though. All right, so if you get a chance to go to Estes, it's back. They sell phenomenal Nebraska stuff, obviously. But I was at Gold's Gym working out. This is 10 years ago at this point. And so I see this guy, and it looks like Master Longoria, which is Angie's Taekwondo instructor, but he's in Lincoln. His academy's in Lincoln. So it's late at night, it's 7 or 8, and I'm like, that looks just like Master Longoria. But I'm like, there's no way. He's at the Gold's Gym in Loveland, which is 8 hours away. So I just go home and I don't think much of it. I go to the gym the next day, and I'm working out, and I kind of go into psycho mode when I work out. So I don't really pay attention to what's going on around me. All of a sudden, this dude's standing in front of me. He goes, hey, Adam, how you doing? I'm like, holy crap, it is you. It is Master Longoria. And so he's a smaller individual in stature, okay? But he's an 8th degree black belt. There's not many people, there's people out there who can kick my butt. There's not many people I just know unequivocally, no questions asked, that could kick my butt. And he's one of them. Just an 8th degree black belt. I think it's 8th degree. I think 9th degree is the highest you can go. He was one level below. This was 10 years ago, so maybe he's the 9th degree now. I don't know. But I was like, man, it is so random that he was 8 hours away in Gold's Gym in Loveland, a guy I hadn't seen since Angie got her black belt, which was about 10 years before that. But it turns out we knew a family. I won't say their name, but they were gigantic Husker fans. They lived literally 5 minutes from our house. They had a bunch of horses. We take our girls over there. They ride the horses. And Master Longoria, all right, was friends with them. It was actually in town visiting them, which how he happened to be there. The most random thing ever. 8 hours away, here's Master Longoria, and the one who trained my wife to be a black belt, and he's randomly in front of me at 8 o'clock at night at a Gold's Gym, and I didn't anticipate it. But Nebraska's wide receiver room. So I've got some information, some stats here, some projections, some rankings. Okay, I will say this. I'll lead off with this. When you look at some of the best position units in college football that are projected to be the best position units in college football. I mean, their defense is highly thought of. They are thought of to have the best defensive secondary in the country, according to this anyways. All right, per Max Chadwick. The best linebacker core in the country. So they have the best back seven in the entire country, according to Max Chadwick. The best defensive line belongs to Clemson, and I would absolutely agree with that. I would agree with that. Alabama, the best offensive line. So I'm just going to point something out. So Elijah Pridgett's already projected to be a first-round draft pick by some going into next NFL season. Does it mean anything to us that he left and Alabama's still projected to have the best offensive line in the country? Should that mean anything to Nebraska fans?
I wouldn't look too much into it. Alabama's a factory for NFL players, and
Yes.
I've had good offensive lines all along. But I mean, I would take note of it. Yes.
That was my assessment as well. Okay.
Yeah.
You look at running backs, it's Penn State. All right. Nick Singleton, Katron Allen. When we went through when we discussed like a week or two ago, is Emmett Johnson being overlooked? I had the top 20 running backs in the Big Ten as they were rated. Emmett Johnson was left off of one list and he was 15th on another. 1 and 2 on both lists were Penn State's running back. So I'm not surprised to see they have the top running back backfield in the country. LSU, the top quarterback in the country, Nussmeier. I was surprised to see this, but then I look around and I'm like, well, in the Big Ten, most people think Drew Aller. Out of the SEC, so many quarterbacks that were established from a season ago are no longer around. There's so many new, young, talented quarterbacks. And we kind of went through that list a little bit last week, discussing where Dylan kind of ranked in some of this conversation going into next year. Who else would be in this conversation along with Nussmeier out of LSU, who has an NFL, like, a lot of things about him scream NFL. When you look at his pocket presence, his arm, his experience now, turn the ball over a lot. He can put up big yardage, make big throws, a little bit inconsistent, but he's got another year of experience. To me, in the conversation would be Drew Aller, Nussmeier, and if Carson Beck can get his elbow completely healthy, those would be the three that pop into my head. I have trouble trying to think of a fourth. And this isn't the topic of this. It's supposed to be the main thing of this discussion here. This topic isn't supposed to be the quarterback room. It's supposed to be coming back to the wide receiver room where Nebraska ranks in the country. But I was surprised that Garrett Nussmeier out of LSU was number one. Although when I think about it, Carson Beck, you don't know how the elbow is going to be. Drew Aller, most people think of him as the best quarterback in the Big Ten. But I think people have lowered the ceiling in their minds on Drew Aller of what he can be. So Garrett Nussmeier probably has the higher ceiling. Were you surprised that it's Garrett Nussmeier?
Not completely surprised. I think like Cade Klubnik at Clemson has kind of been getting the nod a lot of the time.
Yep.
You know, I don't think Lenora Sellers at South Carolina has risen that far, but he seems to be kind of the one with maybe the more upside of the group. But it is, I mean, this year is just, that's kind of what it is. I always kind of go back to in the Big 12 days, right after you graduated, we had a year where Colt McCoy was coming back and Bradford was coming back and Graham Harrell was coming back. And it was just like, man, this quarterback, and Chase Daniel was there. Nebraska had like, Missouri, Gans or whatever. So, I mean, there was just a lot of really good quarterbacks. I think that group of quarterbacks would probably be, all of them, be the ranked the highest quarterback this year, just because a lot of the better quarterbacks from last year departed.
That's a great point. Cade Klubnik would be, how did I leave him out? You know, when you're just trying to think of names off on the spot, sometimes you'll leave things out. Cade Klubnik would be the guy that I would probably put number one. And a lot of that would hinge on Garrett Nussmeier's improvement, Carson Beck's elbow, and does Drew Aller, he's got the potential. But do they finally throw the ball downfield? Does he finally have guys to throw the ball downfield to in that wide receiver room? Again, there were multiple games last year, USC, Notre Dame. The top two leading pass catchers in those games for Penn State was Tyler Warren, the best tight end in the country, and then a running back. That's not good. All right. So you come back to what was supposed to be the main point of this topic of conversation, which was the wide receiver room. Now, pass catchers, according to this list, wide receiver tight ends goes to Ohio State. So Ohio State has Max Clare as their tight end. I mean, their wide receiver room is loaded. Probably the best offensive player in America is Jeremiah Smith, and you got Carnell Tate. Okay, depending on who steps up as their number 3 wide receiver. Let me see. I want to see who they have projected here to be next on the list. Yeah, they have the who I think is going to be okay, which is Brandon Innes. I think I'm saying that right, but they go like 4 deep, and I've seen multiple lists where they rank the top wide receivers in the Big Ten, and Ohio State's got like 2 of the top 4, 3 of the top 5, 4 of the top 10. So I wasn't surprised to see Ohio State on the top of this list. And when you think of the top wide receiver rooms in the entire country, Ohio State's absolutely in that conversation. Texas is in that conversation. Georgia, who led America in drop passes last year, is in that conversation. LSU, who just might be my dark horse team. I gotta ponder it a little bit more. Might be my dark horse team to play Texas in that SEC championship game and maybe beat them. I do think this is the best LSU roster that the Tigers have had in half a decade. USC is projected to be ahead of Nebraska, which surprised me as far as a wide receiver room because USC lost their top 5 pass catchers from a year ago. And so I've seen multiple lists. You look nationally, multiple lists where USC is in front of Nebraska. You look nationally, according to this particular preseason projection when it comes to wide receiver rooms, it goes Ohio State, Texas, Georgia, LSU, USC at 5, Alabama 6, Missouri, Oregon, Oklahoma, Ole Miss. Then Colorado, Texas A&M, Washington, Arizona, a couple of Big 12 teams in there. Okay, when you go Big 10 specifically, it goes Ohio State, USC number 2, Penn State number 3. If Penn State has the 3rd best wide receiver room in the Big 10, I'm taking them to go to the national championship. My only question about Penn State is how much higher can Drew Aller's game go? And I think that is directly connected to the improvements or lack thereof, whatever it turns out to be true this season, that have happened in that wide receiver room for Penn State. But right now, USC, Penn State are 2, 3. Indiana is 4. When you just look at the Big Ten specifically at some of these rankings, Oregon is 5. Nebraska is projected to have the 6th best wide receiver room in the Big Ten. I'm kind of surprised to see USC as high as they are, but it's consistent across the board. And I even looked at their transfer portal additions. I mean, they had the 18th ranked transfer portal class in the country. They have some decent additions, some guys who can come in and make plays, but I feel like they had more talented guys leave. They had two 5-star guys leave. One of them went to Georgia that were wide receivers, guys who can return kicks, electric type players. And so I'm a little bit surprised to see USC this high. Penn State, man, if they have the 3rd best wide receiver in the room in the Big Ten, they're like a national title contender. Indiana, all right, they've got some guys coming back from a year ago. Oregon, all right, they're always loaded with speed. Nebraska at 6. What are your thoughts on Ohio State, USC, Penn State, Indiana, Oregon, Nebraska being the top 6 in the Big Ten according to these rankings? You look at a different ranking, and they've got Washington's wide receiver room in addition being ahead of Nebraska, although they did drop Indiana in that particular projection. What are your thoughts on Nebraska's wide receiver room being projected 6th in the Big Ten coming into the season and just outside the top 15 nationally?
I think that's fair. And I think especially when you kind of take a step back and look at kind of the national ranking, right? That's where if Nebraska is anywhere close to the top 25 in wide receivers in the nation, that'll be a big step and a big jump from, I don't know. There's only a few wide receiver units at Nebraska over the last 25 years that would even have an argument in there. So that would be huge, obviously, for Dylan Raiola. And so when you kind of break it down team by team, you can have arguments here and there. There's few teams that are just kind of looking down at the other teams. Penn State, like you said, Trevor Payne is almost 1,000-yard receiver that they got from Syracuse. Sounds like they paid almost $2 million for him. So they spent the money and probably good money spent as they're going after that national championship here. But I do think I'm still a little bit in wait and see mode on the wide receiver unit. I think it's partially just because of the Banks and Ayor run that we had last year, which wasn't terrible. It just didn't quite live up to what we expected it to, right?
That's putting it nicely.
And then if you look at the key additions this year, Dane Key, yes, could be an NFL player. He had 2 touchdowns last year. Nazaiah Hunter, young player, get excited about him, but both him and Barney, they didn't reach 600 yards receiving. So not to say that 578, which Hunter had as a freshman, is bad or anything. It's just I think sometimes we get a little ahead of ourselves and get really excited about things before we see them come to fruition. Of course, the bigger part of that is now, do we believe in the wide receiver coach a little bit more than we did last year as well?
The wide receiver coach, the offensive coordinator, plays are being called, the way they're being coached up, the way everything's going to gel, who's in charge of everything, being Holgerson, to your point, the wide receiver coach, D. Shorts. Man, it's interesting. You said something there. You said a lot of things that I thought were interesting. I will say this. I mentioned this way back in January, I think. Ja'Cory Barney, according to Pro Football Focus, was graded out as the number 2 true freshman wide receiver in the entire country. Number 1 was, of course, Jeremiah Smith out of Ohio State. So that's something to keep in mind. So you're telling me that this Kool-Aid that I've got up to my lips and I'm about ready to drink right now, I need to put the Kool-Aid back down. Is that what you're telling me?
You don't need to. I've just been through a few. I've been hyped up about things before that haven't come to fruition. So again, I think for like a lot of Husker fans, a little bit more of a wait and see. But as the summer goes on, we'll drink the Kool-Aid with you.
Let's be real. It's not just the wide receivers. It's the wide receiver coach. It's the guy in charge of the offense calling the plays. It's the guy throwing the football. A wide receiver will be upgraded or downgraded based on the guy getting him the ball. So a lot of this depends on Dylan Raiola. A lot of how Dylan Raiola plays depends on the guys getting open, which also depends on the run game, which also sets up the pass game and the play action pass. And everything starts up front. If there's no holes up front, the running backs are going to have a hard time going anywhere. If the quarterback, which is going to make it hard to set up the play action pass, which makes the offensive play calling more predictable. And even if it's not predictable, you still got to have time to throw the ball. So it all starts up front. Okay, I still believe offense puts butts in the seats, defense wins games, trenches on both sides of the ball, wins championships or not. But it all kind of goes hand in hand. Football is the ultimate team game. But I think you make some great points there. Out of curiosity, and I'll give my thoughts. I do think Nebraska has one of the top 5 wide receiver rooms in the Big Ten. I think when you go nationally, whether they break that top 15 is something we got to wait and see. Like, I just want to drink the Kool-Aid in the offseason. Like, I want the NBA to be good and fun to watch again. I want to drink the Kool-Aid in the offseason with Nebraska. I just do. I'm not going to hide that. I think everybody wants to. Now, sometimes it can be more painful to do it based on previous years and previous off seasons and then what actually happened. I think it's fair to say Nebraska's around the 5th best wide receiver room in the Big Ten till we see some actual football. And they're probably just outside of that top 15. I would say it's fair to say top 20 until we see some actual football, what actually happens. You said there aren't many wide receiver rooms, but I think you said there might be one that could have an argument to be rated higher than that over the past decade here at Nebraska. What were those wide receiver rooms, out of curiosity? Who was in those rooms?
Well, I'd go back to the about a decade ago when you had Jordan Westerkamp, Brandon Riley, DeMornay Pearsonell. I can't remember if they were all at the same, Jamal Turner. There's just some pretty good names there. And then, that's the one that I always kind of thought was competitive, at least since I've been, since the transition from the option game, I suppose, to the unit that you guys had when you were there with Maurice Purify and Todd Peterson and Nate Swift, and Brands Hardy really went off again for a game here and there. So those are the 2 units that I think are the best units Nebraska's had. As units, like, Trey Palmer, if you had a little bit more, there's better, maybe individual wide receivers at times, but those are the 2 best units I can think of since the change from the option offense, which I think is fair to make that, to grade wide receivers differently from there on.
Think about this. All right. There was a time at Texas Tech where Michael Crabtree and Danny Amendola were both there. Remember, Crabtree didn't just win the Biletnikoff once, he won it twice. Danny Amendola went on to be freaking Danny Amendola in the NFL. Wasn't too bad in college either, especially as a kick returner. And Lincoln Riley was their wide receiver position coach, and he was only 24 years old. Man, that's crazy. When you think about other loaded rooms, Alabama's 2015 coaching staff. Listen to this. Head coach, Nick Saban. Offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach, Lane Kiffin. Defensive coordinator, inside linebackers coach, Kirby Smart. Offensive line, Mario Cristobal. Wide receivers, Billy Napier. Assistant head coach, defensive backs, Mel Tucker. Graduate assistant, Dan Lanning. For those who don't know, Dan Lanning, Oregon's head coach. Mel Tucker was just the head coach at Colorado, Michigan State. Billy Napier, Florida's head coach. Mario Cristobal, Miami's head coach. Kirby Smart, Georgia's head coach. Lane Kiffin, Ole Miss's head coach. How crazy is that, Jake?
That is crazy. Once you, like, the first few I kind of knew and kind of remember it, I didn't realize the staff went that deep.
How's that even legal? Is there anything off the text line real quick?
Well, Mississippi Mud Dog has another argument, and I think it's fair. So he said 2014. I think I don't think Kenny Bell was there by then, but he included him in there. But I do think Kenny Bell and Quincy Enunwa as a tandem probably deserve an argument as well. Trying to think who else was was in that group, but it was primarily them standing out.
All right. Just a few facts on Dane Key, because I think Dane Key's a little bit hard to project. Now, this is a guy that most people thought had he gone to the NFL, which he thought about, he'd be a third-round pick, maybe second round. Okay, he's an NFL wide receiver, future NFL wide receiver. Now, you mentioned he only had a couple of touchdown receptions last year at Kentucky. That offense at Kentucky, how do I put this, was well below average. They were immensely struggled at the quarterback room that year. And Kentucky, I believe, was 4-8 a season ago. So that was a struggling team as a whole. And like we said, it's all connected. That being said, we got to see the upgrade that we're hoping to see out of him here this year at Nebraska. But here's a couple things to think about. He is the 22nd overall NFL wide receiver prospect. Okay. Some people compare him to Pat Bryant, who was drafted 84th overall, or Trey Harris, who was just drafted 55th overall. In his 3 seasons at Kentucky, he's 5th all time in receptions with 126. All right, he's listed 6'3", 210 pounds, estimated to be about a 4.5 40-yard dash, I would say, and ranked 6th in intermediate routes and 6th in deep threats as well by scouts coming into this season. And he averages about 15 yards of reception. Isaiah Hunter averages about 15 yards of reception. A season ago, Dylan Raiola averaged well under 10 yards per pass. So being able to threaten a defense down the field, being able to stretch a defense is going to open up everything underneath. And then when we open up that, you can now try to take the top off a defense like we used to be able to do. And hopefully we can do again this season with a guy named Trey Palmer. All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We shall return.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at DoorsPlusLLC.com. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
I want to ride. Do you want to ride? June is officially riding month at Rod's Power Sports, Nebraska's largest volume Honda Power Sports dealership. Come in now and take advantage of huge savings and a great inventory selection during Rod's I Want to Ride celebration days all month long. Simply schedule a qualified demo ride on one of their new Honda motorcycles, ATVs, scooters, or side-by-sides, or purchase a new or used vehicle, and you get a free custom I Want to Ride t-shirt. Plus, all month long, they have 10% discounts on all wearables, parts, accessories, and oil change kits when purchased with a new or used Honda. Free refreshments served each Saturday morning in June. Just show up and say, I want to ride, and they'll fix you up with some free stuff and help you pick out that new ride. Come ride with Rod's Power Sports in Lincoln or online at rodspowersports.com. For your safety, read the owner's manual and always wear a helmet and eye protection. Honda Power Sports vehicles are for riders 16 years and older. Honda recommends that all ATV riders take a training course.
Load up on meat and more this summer at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's specials through June 24th are $1 off ground beef, 15% off on aprons, 15% off Cornhead beer, and buy one, get one 50% off on brats and hot dogs, limit 2. Plus, stop by for lunch on Fired Up Thursday at the Mercado East or Fired Up Friday at the Mercado North. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see a chance of showers in this moment, especially this afternoon. Otherwise, mainly cloudy and breezy with the high near 89. Tonight, showers and storms likely, the low near 69. And tomorrow, with a continued chance of showers and storms, the afternoon high near 88. I'm meteorologist Kyle Clucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Several irrigation contractors in Lincoln go out of business every year, leaving sprinkler system orphans begging for service. The folks at Judson Irrigation shed a tear for these little fellas. They've been coddling these orphans for more than 40 years. From redesign, repairing, replacing, and restoring, remember the Judson Irrigation Orphanage.
Call the Judson Irrigation Orphanage 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
Husker fans, the 2025 Nebraska football season is right around the corner, and we need your support in the Sea of Red at Memorial Stadium this fall. You can now purchase a Husker football 3-game mini plan for only $185. This plan includes a ticket to USC plus Akron or Houston Christian and either Michigan State, Northwestern, or Iowa. Tickets are only available while supplies last. Purchase your Husker football 3-game mini plan today, or for more information, visit huskers.com/tickets. Go Big Red.
Nebraska Veterans Aid is here for veterans and dependents facing unforeseen financial emergencies. Get assistance with food, fuel, shelter, clothing, transportation, and even funeral and medical expenses. If you're a veteran facing a financial emergency, apply for Nebraska Veterans Aid through your county veteran service officer. Learn more at veterans.nebraska.gov/NVA. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Midwest Bank is now hiring in Lincoln. They have multiple banking positions open and are looking for dynamic individuals passionate about helping others and building relationships. With a family-friendly culture, competitive benefits, and unique perks, Midwest Bank is a great place to start a new career. Apply today at midwest.bank. Midwest Bank is an equal opportunity employer, member FDIC. Attention all Wings fans, Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O, or in Williamsburg Village.
We interrupt this commercial break for an important story.
There once was a man from Nebraska who went searching for food in Alaska. When his stomach was rumbling while laying in bed, he could think of only one option, Führer's cheese spread. So he left at once and drove day and night to return back home for cheese spread delight. Now his stomach is full and the voice in his head tells him no more vacations without Führer's cheese spread. Find yours today at most local grocers.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. This is the Adam Carricker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Adam Carricker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. Is there anything off the text line there real quick, Jake?
Well, I have to give Mississippi Mud Dog some credit. He's been barking at me because, and I say that because he's, the Mud Dog.
I like it.
But, yeah, he's been arguing because I did say that Kenny Bell was not on that 2014 team, but he was. So good job by Mississippi Mud Dog. Better memory than I have. Of how long Kenny Bell's career ended. I thought, for some reason, I was thinking 2013, but he brought that up. So he was saying, yeah, that 2014 group of Kenny Bell, Jamal Turner, Westerkamp, and Pearson L would be a group that he would put up there.
Man, we've had a lot of talented position groups, a lot of talented guys come through. You know, you think about maybe guys who are here and kind of in and out from guys like Maurice Washington. Who was the kid out of Omaha that took the option pitch against Northwestern and went like 80 yards?
Xavier Betts?
Xavier Betts. All I could think of was Xavier Watts. And I'm like, that's not him. So Xavier Betts, and a lot of guys like that. And you think about some of the guys that are here now. Like, you see talent, you see ability. You got to get it out of them. And I'll tell kids that I'm coaching, I'll tell people that I chat with, I've seen a lot of people who were talented in my life and guys who do great in practice, but carrying over into a game, carrying it over into a game time situation, carrying it over to the situation where everybody's watching. Frankly, there's times I wish I would have done it better. There's times I'm proud that I did it as well as I did, but there's times I look back and I'm like, man, I wish I would have done this differently. It's not always the easiest thing in the world. I do believe the talent is there. It's there in our wide receiver room. It is all about how does it gel? How does it gel with the quarterback? How does it gel with the running game? How does it gel with the O-line? How does it gel with the new wide receiver coach, D Shorts? How does it gel with Holgerson? How does it all come together? How does the improvement from last year work out? How big is the improvement? I expect improvement. The question is it small? Is it average? Is it above average? Is it huge? How does it all work and come together? All right. We do have a special guest on at this time. All right. We have had some big time recruiting news and updates over the past couple of weeks, the past week, this weekend. Now, that's something we're going to discuss in the last segment going forward as well. But we've got a surprise interview at a man who just committed to the University of Nebraska over this past weekend, a 4-star tight end. All right, Mr. Luke Sorensen chose the Huskers over Ole Miss and Penn State when he announced this past weekend he was going to come join Nebraska and the Big Red. How you doing, Luke? How you doing, my friend?
I'm amazing. How are you guys?
Dude, I'm pumped. I'm pumped to have you a part of Husker Nation. I'm pumped to have you on air. Talk to me, because Nebraska is making some big waves when it comes to making big impact on big-time recruits across the country, such as yourself. What stands out to you about Nebraska? What made you choose Nebraska to come join the Huskers?
You know, at the end of the day, it was the coaches and the people for me. You know, obviously, anywhere in the Big Ten, the SEC, you're going to find good coaches, but I felt Nebraska was just something different, you know. I think Matt Rule is one of the greatest coaches alive. I think that what he does is special, especially in college football. Coach Satterfield, the tight end coach, is one of my guys. He's one of my favorite coaches I've ever been recruited by. And I just think that there's a lot of special things coming to Nebraska that a lot of people aren't going to know about until it hits them.
So I know when you announced, you talked about the culture at Nebraska. I got one of your quotes in front of me. You said, and I quote in the end, it was the culture of the program, the character of the coaches, and the expectation to perform and win at a high level, not just for next season, but for the future of the university. They believe in me, not just as a player, but as a person, end quote. And Matt Rule has talked about not just recruiting highly ranked recruits, but recruiting the right type of person and player that fits in with what they're trying to do there. What about you fits in with what Matt Rule is trying to do? Because obviously there's a great fit there.
Yeah, so Matt Rule is all about development. You know, I've only been playing football for about 2 years, right? I've been playing, last year was my first year playing tight end, right? So I'm still learning about this game. I'm still new to all this, you know, all the lifting and all the football specific training, right? So I'm all new to that. And I feel that Matt Rule and Coach Satterfield are going to make me the best tight end possible. And I think that they do that through the intentionality in their coaching. I think they're very intentional coaches. They know what it takes to win, and they understand what it takes to be a good tight end. And so, you know, Coach Corey, who's the strength and conditioning coach over there, I felt like their nutrition and their strength and conditioning programs is the best in the country without a doubt. They spend the most money on it. They're the most intentional. The stuff that they have is, you know, high next level. You're training like Olympic professional athletes, which is what we are at the end of the day. And so I feel like a combination of all those things is what's going to make you the best tight end. That's not at the University of Nebraska.
So it's interesting because you alluded to this is only, you know, about your second season playing football. You were, as a freshman, you weighed 185 pounds. You were actually, I believe, a right tackle. Then you moved to tight end before your sophomore year. All right, now you're up to 6'3.5", 6'4", 250 pounds with some big hands, size 17 shoe. Talk to me about, it's a two-part question because my dad wouldn't let me play football until I was in 7th grade. Okay, so I felt like that was a little bit later on start. Obviously, you started even a little bit later on. What was the reason for playing a little bit later? And the second part of that question, you already clearly have a love for the game. What has endeared you to football that makes you love it so much already?
You know, the reason why I started late was, you know, my dad was a basketball player. He grew up on Long Island, right? He's a big dude, about 6'6.5", 6'7", you know, big basketball player. Both my uncles played football. One of them played, he was a walk-on at USC, right? So there was a lot of football and basketball in my family, but my first like sport that I really loved was baseball. That's what I dedicated all my time to. I played on on travel teams. I played you know, high level baseball. And then after that, I picked football up, and I was like, wait a minute, like, this is what I want to do. Like baseball is cool and all, but, like, this is what I'm meant to do is play football. And so even though I started late, I felt like I still had that athletic ability because I played a bunch of sports growing up. I did karate and taekwondo for about 7-8 years, a lot of jiu-jitsu stuff, Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I wrestled. I played rugby. I played pretty much every sport I ended up playing or trying out at least. And so I felt I always had that athletic ability. And then, once I got into football, the reason why I just loved it so much was because I grew up with two twin sisters. So there wasn't a lot of rough housing. Most guys that get to grow up with brothers, have the ability to kind of train with their brothers and mess around and stuff. I didn't get that. And so I felt like football gave me an opportunity to kind of fight for someone, for 10 other guys on the field, which is why I felt like the greatest team sport is football. And that's why.
All right, man. So I've always been intrigued by self-defense, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, taekwondo, etc. What's the highest level of belt that you've reached? And I know you've done quite a few of them, but what's the highest level of belt that you've reached in one of those?
Highest level, I think I stopped I forget how the rankings go. I was like 1 or 2 before black, so I was decent. But I stopped too young to get to black belt or anything like that. But wrestling, I wrestled my first year doing actual wrestling. I wrestled varsity at 179s and then 197s, and then from there after that I just focused on football. But my freshman and sophomore year was 179 at varsity.
Man, I tell you what, nobody's going to want to get around to fisticuffs with Luke in practice. This dude knows how to defend himself. He knows how to take it to somebody else. It's interesting. I've always said don't mess with wrestlers, not just guys with Brazilian jiu-jitsu, taekwondo, karate, etc., but wrestlers. You don't mess with wrestlers as a general rule.
You never want to mess with a wrestler.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. So you talked about the weight room. You talked about the facilities. You talked about the strength and conditioning coach, Corey Campbell. Dude, the weight room there is just freaking phenomenal. I'm not just saying that. I walk in, I'm like, holy crap. Talk to me about your impression when you first saw the facilities in the weight room.
My first time walking in that weight room, I stepped foot. My unofficial visit, I stepped foot, and then all the players already know who I am. They start running up to me, dog pile. It was just awesome, right? And so it was a great warm welcome by the players, and then just seeing them how they work. I mean, you want to talk about a blue blood team that just works and is all about getting better at football. You look at Nebraska weight room, because the way they just crank things out, it's a well-oiled machine. Some weight rooms are about the hype. Some weight rooms are about the quote-unquote grind. This was just about getting it done and getting it done right. And so that's what I like, because that's how Service's weight room is run, because we have our head coach, Matt Chandler, who was a Marine. And so he runs it just like Coach Corey does. And so it's very cool to see the two correlate.
Look, it's interesting. Your recruiting profile definitely includes that you're a phenomenal blocking tight end. And we've already talked about maybe some of the reasons that kind of go on there, but that's usually not just happenstance. There's an art and there's a physicalness to that. So I got to ask you, what do you like more, putting somebody on their butt or going out there and catching the ball?
I think that the notion behind me being just a blocking tight end is incorrect. Obviously, I love to block, but the reason why a lot of people don't see me as a pass catcher is because we didn't have a quarterback my junior year. Our quarterback got hurt week 2, so we were playing with the freshmen. But at the end of the day, I'm always going to take being able to say, I put you on your back as you're going to be 4 yards off the ball, and now, it's a 1st and 10, you ran inside zone over, and you can just ground and pound the run. Pass catching, I think, is cool, right? I think that it should be an equal split. You got to be able to do both, but I think an inline tight end that can block the way I do is a lot more valuable than a big receiver. I think that I will always take, driving a guy off the ball than running the big route or something like that.
I will never forget, this is years ago, I interviewed Will Bolt, Nebraska's baseball coach. I was 5, 6, 7 years ago, and I interviewed John Cook about a year later, Nebraska's volleyball coach at the time. And I asked them both the same question. I said, if you could give any piece of advice to a young athlete out there, what would it be? And they said to play multiple sports. And the reason for that is a lot of times when you narrow down too soon, you almost cap out too soon. And sometimes you can wear out mentally, fatigue physically, wear out the same body parts. But if you played multiple sports, and dude, you played a ton as you laid out, your best future, your best development is still in front of you, because you're barely scratched the surface of what you can do, especially since you just started playing football. And it's interesting because I'm not just saying that because Luke's on air. If we were to go to break, I would have said that the next break, because a lot of times those are the guys that will take off when they go to the next level of college and develop, because they barely scratched the surface. So Luke, first of all, welcome to Nebraska. Welcome to the Husker Brotherhood. Thanks for taking the time to join me, and I can't wait to see what you do once you don the Nebraska N.
Look, I appreciate you guys for having me on. I love doing this type of stuff. So thank you guys.
All right, man. I know you just got done finishing a workout. Keep grinding, and don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.
Several irrigation contractors in Lincoln go out of business every year, leaving sprinkler system orphans begging for service. The folks at Judson Irrigation shed a tear for these little fellas. They've been coddling these orphans for more than 40 years. From redesign, repairing, replacing, and restoring, remember the Judson Irrigation Orphanage.
Call the Judson Irrigation Orphanage 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
You've heard the phrase bigger is better. Hello, this is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. As applied to family law firms, this phrase can be misleading. Yes, it's true that more resources, proven processes, a wealth of shared experience and expertise, these are all good things. But it's also true that being local has its advantages for a law firm. Familiarity with judges, with local experts, opposing counsel, even the local rules and practices. So if you're a guy confronting a family law matter, you should be thinking right now, I need all the above. I need big and local. In that case, call Cordell & Cordell, a national law firm comprised of local offices with local attorneys who practice in local courts. Remember, for over 35 years, we've been the partner that you can count on.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Lincoln area attorneys. 402-858-3220. CordellCordell.com. 1221 N Street, Suite 801, Lincoln, Nebraska 68508.
Attention all Wings fans. Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays, enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O, or in Williamsburg Village.
When you're outdoors beneath Nebraska skies, adventure comes in all sizes. From quick escapes and long weekends to true off-the-grid retreats. Paddle, hike, camp, explore. Whether you have a few hours or a few days, we'll guide you to a state park or recreation area that's a perfect fit. Start your next adventure today at yournebraskaparks.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Husker fans, the 2025 Nebraska football season is right around the corner, and we need your support in the Sea of Red at Memorial Stadium this fall. You can now purchase a Husker football 3-game mini plan for only $185. This plan includes a ticket to USC plus Akron or Houston Christian and either Michigan State, Northwestern, or Iowa. Tickets are only available while supplies last. Purchase your Husker football 3-game mini plan today, or for more information, visit huskers.com/tickets. Go Big Red.
Play ball! Haymarket Park is buzzing with excitement this summer. Grab your crew and get in on the fun. Be sure to catch all the daily specials and promotions this season, like Thirsty Thursday, Fireworks Friday, Souvenir Saturday, Family Fun Day Sunday, plus special events and discounts all summer long. Don't miss out on the action as the Lincoln Salt Dogs take on their biggest rivals and knock the ball out of the park. Visit saltdogs.com and see this week's promotions and grab your tickets.
We interrupt this commercial break for an important story.
There once was a man from Nebraska who went searching for food in Alaska. When his stomach was rumbling while laying in bed, he could think of only one option, Fuhrer's cheese spread. So he left it once and drove day and night to return back home for cheese spread delight. Now his stomach is full and the voice in his head tells him no more vacations without Führer's cheese spread. Find yours today at most local grocers.
A1 Automotive's second location is now open at 5110 State Hill Drive, just off of Yankee Hill Road. The new location continues to specialize in all makes and models and provides personalized service as they have for 15 years. To honor the new store opening, A1 is offering $25 off any service over $300, $50 off services over $500, and $75 off services that total over $750, all through July 31st. Schedule your appointment today at a1autolincoln.com and visit their new location in South Lincoln at 5110 State Hill Drive.
Now's the time to lock in the best deal of the year on a new John Deere sprayer during Landmark Implement's Sprayer Early Order Program. Leverage the industry's latest technology with See and Spray. Target weeds with precision and cut herbicide use. Utilize Exact Apply to save in chemical usage and prevent over-application. Don't forget, secure early order savings and get the sprayer that maximizes every pass. Visit your Landmark location for full details and experience the Landmark difference.
Nebraska Veterans Aid is here for veterans and dependents facing unforeseen financial emergencies. Get assistance with food, fuel, shelter, clothing, transportation, and even funeral and medical expenses. If you're a veteran facing a financial emergency, apply for Nebraska Veterans Aid through your county veteran service officer. Learn more at veterans.nebraska.gov/NVA. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is the Adam Carricker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the final segment of the Monday edition, the No Case of the Mondays, Monday edition of the Adam Carricker Show. All right, 16 days and counting. The Carricker Chronicles inaugural football camp. The Ticket will be live at the camp from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Central Time. The drive will be going on. Steve Taylor will be dropping that knowledge, and DP will be going one-on-one live on site from the LYF Lincoln Youth Football Field, July 9th. If you haven't registered, there's a few spots left. Honestly, there's not a ton. If you want to learn more and to register about the inaugural Carricker Chronicles football camp, which features Eric Crouch, Amon Green, Zach Weger, Kenny Wilhite, yours truly, and now there's other former Huskers that are going to be there as well, guys who've reached out. I'm happy to say that Corey McEwen's going to be there. Ron Kellogg's going to be there. There's other guys who played in the NFL that have reached out, a former Jets running back, okay? And so it's going to be pretty cool. We're going to have over, I think it's 10 guys who played college football that are going to be there. And I want to shout out everyone else who's going to be there that's helping to coach. We have 35 coaches in total, 25 guys who volunteered their time as well. Shout out to each and every one of them. It's going to be fun. You're going to learn a lot. The kids are going to have a blast. That's our priority. Okay. Again, July 9th, Wednesday, 16 days from now, boys and girls, K through 8th grade, t-shirts included, autographs included. Again, the ticket will be on a site. Go to carrickerchronicles.com to learn more and or register. You got something off the tube of you real quick, and then we got some quick recruiting updates before we get out of here.
Yeah, just a few comments here. Chad off of Facebook says, light them up like the 4th of July. So he's looking forward to the 4th of July and a blocking tight end.
I like it.
Andrew
I like it.
from YouTube says, from good sources, we should land a big-time commit today. 2 others are likely to commit soon.
All right, let's see what happens. Okay, a couple of quick things. Nebraska hosted 8 official visitors over the weekend, including multiple 4-star prospects. All right, 3 prospects are now trending towards the Huskers, including a potential flip target. Danny Odom is someone to keep your eye on. Claude Mpuma. All right. And I'm actually going to read something from him. 4-star offensive tackle Claude Mpuma feels there's something different about Matt Rule compared to other head coaches coming out of his Nebraska official visit. And I quote, our relationship is amazing. I'm going to say he's more fluid. Nothing's forced. It's just natural. So we'll see what happens. Again, some other information. All right. Again, Claude has narrowed it down to Ohio State, Florida, Auburn, Michigan, and Nebraska, his final 5 schools. All right, again, some potential flips coming. We'll see what happens. All right, 4-star, 3-star guys committing soon. We'll see who commits to Nebraska here. All right, and final thoughts before we get out of here. This is just kind of interesting to me. while all this exciting recruitment is going on, I'm going to follow Nebraska guys, Nebraska Kearney, Nebraska Omaha, Creighton's in there as well, and Nebraska high school football players. Millard South now has 9 players in the class of 2026 committed to play Division I FBS football. 5 of those 9 are committed to Power 4 schools. Have you ever seen that many from one school before? One high school?
I couldn't tell you which one. I couldn't think of one.
Let me read that again. 9 players in the class of 2026, I don't know if I said that before, committed to play Division I FBS football. 5 of those 9 are committed to Power 4 conference schools. All right. Hey, recruiting is very entertaining to follow this time of year. You got to be exciting if you're a Husker fan. Got to be excited if you're a Nebraska high school fan or just a fan of Nebraska people. All right, ladies and gentlemen. It's a No Case of the Mondays edition. No Case of the Monday edition of the Adam Carricker Show that is now concluded. Have a glorious day. Thanks for joining me, Jake.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure as always.
All right. Go Big Red. And always remember to throw the bugs.
There are great Mexican restaurants all over town, but there is one that is especially worth the drive from any part of town. Tacos Los Hermanos at 70th and Havelock. Cool off this summer with a delicious horchata or other special drinks, and grab one of their famous taco boxes for a group of friends.